I open with Providence to search Oracle, I activate Oracle, he tries to ash it, but I busted out Gamma, normal summon Darkworm, search 0, made Helki Fibrax, summoned Veiler, activated 0 and Zefra, linked into Selene, Veiler, made a Palooza, Pendulum summoned the Darkworm, petting Sasor, Zefra Neo, Driver, and Madeline. Zefra Neo searched 9 pillars, made IP with Driver and Darkworm, made Baguska with the 2 Matalshe, set pillars, and then end my turn. He summons Griffin Rider, normal summons Roxy's, makes Meow Meow, tries to summon with Roxy's, but I intercept with the Palooza. He couldn't attack IP because of Baguska, and then he surrendered. I open with set rotation to give myself Oracle and him Necro Valley, use Oracle to get Zefroxy, activate Zefra, search Zefra Neo, pitch Darkworm with Shrine, special summon Darkworm, search 0, use Providence to search Zefra Thuban, normal summon Zefra Thuban, link summon Lambda, activate 0, pendulum summon Zefra Thuban, Zefra Neo, and Zefroxy, use Zefra Neo to search Divine Strike, use Zefroxy to make Zefra Neo tuner, use Zefroxy and Zefra Neo to make Helki Fibrax, use to summon Ghost Ogre, turn done. Opponent activates Necro Valley, activates Mystic Mine, I intercept with Strike, he uses Terraforming to search Mine, activates Probability to pull Solemn Judgment, activates Shard of Greed, sets 3 cards, and then ends the turn. I draw Zefroth for turn, use Zefroth to search Zefroxy, and attempt to thin out my deck to increase my chances of drawing an out later. Turn ends. Opponent draws for turn, uses Jar of Greed to draw, sets a card, and turn ends. I draw Zefraxiton for turn ends. Opponent draws for turn, uses this shard to draw 2, uses Jar to draw 1, activates Ledger Domain, normal summons Vortex Trooper, uses it to shuffle 2 and draw 2, activates Final Countdown, Trooper attacks Helki Fibrax, Trooper triggers effect to draw 1, board. Now I'm gonna stop talking about this one. Opponent normal summons Spirit of the Fallwind, uses it to search Morphing Jar, uses Instant Fusion to summon Camion Wizard, summons Gallant Granite, uses it to summon Morphing Jar face down, uses Book of Taio on Jar, uses Book of Moon to put Jar face down, both players discard and draw 5, summons Perform H Hat Kicker, sets a card, activates Shade Brigandine, summons it, uses Taio to flip Jar, tries to use Jar, I intercept with Gamma, and he surrenders. Opponent normal summons Starliege Seifert and uses it to search Noctivision Dragon by discarding Destrudo. Link summons Striker Dragon, summons Noctivision, uses Striker to search Boot Sector Launch. Link summons Romulus, uses it to search Dragon Ravine, draws 1 with Noctivision, uses Ravine by discarding Spiral Dragon to pitch Absolouter Dragon, uses it to search Rocket Tracer, activate Sector, uses it to summon Tracer, uses it to destroy Sector and summon Rocket Recharger. Synchro summons Magical Dragon, uses it to grab Wyver Burster, summons it, makes IP, Wyver Burster searches Collapse Serpent, special summons Magical, special summons Spiral, Xyz summons Zombie Vampire, uses it to mill and summon Rocket Synchron, summons Collapse Serpent, summons Quadboral Dragon, uses it to destroy Romulus and summon Tracer and Recharger, summons Savage Dragon, uses Seifert to bounce Armageddon, uses Armageddon to bounce Seifert, turn ends. I draw Terraforming for turn, I activate Oracle to search Zefra, use Terraforming to search Necro Valley, activate Ravine, use it by discarding Darkworm to pitch Destrudo, summon Darkworm, try to search 0, but I'm intercepted with Veiler, summon Destrudo, summon Helki Fibrax, summon Veiler, summon Selene, summon Veiler, summon a Palooza, activate Zefroxy, use Zefra to search Zefra Neo, pendulum summon Zefra Neo, search pillars, opponent attempts to use IP by intercept with a Palooza, I crash a Palooza and the IP, activate Necro Valley, opponent intercepts with Savage, turn ends. Opponent draws draws for turn, uses Zombie to mill and summon Driver, summons Gloomy, tries to use Gloomy, but I intercept with Pillars. He summons Magical, summons Armageddon, attacks with Quad Boral, attacks with Armageddon. My life points are reduced to 0. Opponent summons Junk Forward, normal summons Aqua Dolphin, uses Dolphin by discarding Ancient Cloak to destroy my Zefra, uses Cloak to search Shade, sets Shade, summons Verte, Anaconda, tries to use Verte to fusion summon by intercept with Gamma, and opponent surrenders.
And this is another reason why G5 gets delayed until 2025, and we get My Little Pony Friendship's Magic Season 14 between them. So Chris still thinks that the current series of My Little Pony is going to go on for 5 years. Before then, with seasons 10 to 13 before then, I know you can.
I open with Terraforming, but I'm intercepted with Ash Blossom, normal summon Magdalene, try to search Cutting Zazor, but I'm intercepted by Gamma. I play Set Rotation to give myself Oracle and give my opponent Necro Valley, use Providence to search the Foxy, activate Zefra, use it to search Zefra New, activate the Foxy, then summon Zefra New, use it to search Pillars, end turn. My opponent activates Pot of Prosperity to grab Fractal, normal summons Rescue Kit, I hit it with Effect Arrow, he uses Fractal to pitch Kit, uses Kit to search Nerval, uses Nerval to search Keras, summons Keras by discarding Nerval, tries to use it to special summon a monster from the extra deck by intercepting Pillars and search 4. He attacks with Cat and ends his turn. I draw Gamma for turn, use Zefra to search the Fraxiton, Pendulum summon Zefra New, use it to search Providence, use it to search Divine Strike, set 4, set Pillars, and turn. My opponent draws for turn. I use War to destroy Cat and Zefra New. I use Zefra New to search Providence. He normal summons Keras, tries to use it effect again by intercept with Gamma, ends turn. I draw Zefra Deacon for turn, activate Providence to search Oracle, Pendulum summons the Fraxiton and Zefra Deacon, attack with the Fraxiton and turn. My opponent draws for turn, normal summons Kit, tries to use the special summon from the extra deck by intercept with Divine Strike, uses Kit to pitch Nerval, uses Nerval to search Fractal, ends turn. I draw Dark One for turn, normal summon it, use it to search 0, use Zefra Deacon and Fraxiton to make it IP, Pendulum summons Zefra Deacon and Fraxiton, attack with Dark One, IP, and Fraxiton. I end my turn, my opponent draws for turn, normal summons Fractal, I use IP to link summon Palusa with Dark One, IP is Zefra Deacon and Fraxiton. He tries to use Fractal to special summon from the extra deck by intercept with Palusa, he sets card, ends turn. I draw Destroyer for turn, opponent activates Tri-Brigade Revolt to normal summon Nerval, Fractal, Kit, and Keras, Link summons Shuri, and I surrender.
How old is he? How old is he?
Me and him got together, we designed and manufactured our own balloons.
Sounds like something happened.
$49.99, it costs $12.92 per dozen.
You gotta watch it.
They are customized.
You gotta watch it.
For parents, put them on. Chocolate sprinkles and they
The first opponent was playing a Prank Kids deck. Right at the first move, the replay demonstrates why I put Ciphering Gear Gamma in this deck, and the card has yet to disappoint me. The fact that this card can also lead to Needle Boy abuse is equally hilarious, but I was all about Gamma before I knew that Halky Vibrex was coming to the TCG. Truth be told, I didn't have any better ideas for providing further defense. When Pendulum summoning, I go for 9 Pillars so I can shove it up my opponent's trap hole. For the other disruptions, I went for Baguska because I figured it would be a safe pick as far as generic floodgates go. I also threw an IP since it was immune to Baguska. Considering how the rest of the duel went, Baguska and Apaloosa seemed to make for an effective pincer attack. In the second duel, my opponent was playing a Mystic Mind stun deck. At first, I seemed to be making decent enough headway, but had the feeling that this was a sticky situation based on a distinct lack of hand traps. I was probably just being negative. Anyway, he gets rid of Necro Valley and goes for Mystic Mind, so my immediate reaction was to shotgun Divine Strike because I didn't pack any other back row negates. I sorta knew that I was screwed, but I figured I could hold on by using Zephyroth to thin out my deck and dig for the trap card so I could fight back. This never came to pass. My tactics are in need of revision. My third opponent played a Morphing Jar FTK deck. I had a run-in with this strategy once before. To be honest, this game was an easy win, and I'm not saying that out of hubris. Cocky attitudes disgust me, so this is no exaggeration. All I had to do was wait for him to force me to draw any hand trap, and I would stop the combo, because the combo works by forcing me to literally draw my whole deck, which I did to his detriment as I whipped out the Gamma on his flippin' trap hole, pun intended of course. Talk about autopilot decks. Still have a sense of humor. My fourth opponent seemed to be playing a Dragon Link deck. I won't rehash the details, but he made a relatively solid board, at least for a situation that was being presented to me. I chose Dragon Ravine as my opening move after using Terraforming as bait because discarding Dark Worm for cost would let me get its effect off regardless of any negation used on Ravine. I was surprised to see that no such thing happened, so I proceeded with the Halky Fibrax Turbo. Taking a Veiler on Darkworm was more or less in line with how I foresaw this situation. Still, I decided to make a Palusa to maximize my defense and went for the 9 Pillars combo since I still had the pieces for it. Long story short, I lost as expected, but actually did better than I initially thought I would. My fifth opponent played what seemed to be a Phantom Knight deck or a Warrior deck. I did not open well, but I figured I might be able to hold on because I had Gamma on my side. He deployed Neospatian Aquadolphin and ripped my Zefra Thubin, but I proceeded to clock him when I put Gamma on Verte Anaconda. I was really expecting Isolde, Two Tails of the Noble Knights, or Cherubini, Ebon Angel, the Burning Abyss, but I suppose that Gamma would have carried me anyway. Still not disappointed with Gamma, to say the least. My sixth opponent played a Tri-Brigade deck. I was only a little bit nervous after being hit by 2 hand traps because I still had some leverage in the form of my actual Zefra cards that let me use the Pillars combo alongside Veiler. I would say that I had the early advantage. In fact, I would say that I was definitely winning until Tri-Brigade Revolt came around and blew me out. No homo. Perhaps I should have used extra copies of Zefra Knee or 9 Pillars in order to enhance my ability to grind. Still no homo. Cards I removed from my deck after testing are Zefra Path 1-0, Supreme King Dragon Darkworm 2-1, and Perform Pal Odd-Eye Synchron 1-0. These cards I add in my deck are Zefra Neo, Secret of the Yang from 1-2, Effect Veiler from 1-2, and Foolish Burial from 0-1. Zefra Path is a powerful card in terms of functionality, but it restricts my options during gameplay, does not combine with other cards in this deck, is not universally good against other strategies, and I play Baguzga as a relatively easy to use extra deck mounted floodgate. I mean, based on what happened at Prank Kids matchup, I could have stopped that deck summon with Path, but I was still able to carry on anyway because I had other disruptions on my side that provided the same function. Also, Magicling can make a Baguzka or Abyss Dweller in addition to Granite Turbo. I'll probably pick it up again when playing other Zefra builds, but not this one. Spring King Dragon Darkworm is a blessing and a curse if I'm being completely honest. The blessing is that it provides me with a way to access generic gameplay options outside of Zefra cards and will even let me Pendulum Summon level 1 of all things. The curse is that it's total brick if drawn, but I found a workaround for this I can apply if I play the card at 1 copy. If I play Dark Worm and Shrine or Foolish, I can normal summon Dark Worm to search 0 and use a Shrine or Foolish to pitch Destrudo. If I draw Dark Worm or Ravine, I can discard Dark Worm as Ravine's cost and pitch Destrudo. These interactions also work backwards, as Dark Worm in both examples can be replaced by Destrudo. I find the Dragon Engine to be a hidden gem in a sense, as I've not really seen others use it. It definitely has its shortcomings regarding its interactions with other cards in this deck, but it's not nearly as bad as Path's Conflicts, though I probably wouldn't play this in other builds. Perform Pal Odd-Eye Synchron was actually a really easy cut to make in comparison to the other exclusions. The card simply does nothing outside of being an extender. Despite being a pendulum monster and a tuner, 6 is a really bad scale, and the pendulum effect is also underwhelming at best. I know that it's possible to special summon Perform Pal Pendulum Sorcerer and use its trigger effect to search Synchron and then make Sorcerer a tuner, but that's not saying much because every hand trap in this deck is a tuner by default and can double as a perfectly viable synchro material in addition to be helpful going second. Maybe I'll play it in an Eyes build or something. Whatever that would be. Zefra Neo Secret of the Yang is getting bumped up to 2 for reasons I explained earlier, but I will reiterate that doing so enhances the ability to grind so that does not become unplayable after deploying Divine Strike once. I would ideally only use Zefra Neo once per duel, but I think that the Tri-Brigade duel proves that I need to build a deck to be more conservative than that. Also, if I successfully go first and then get my board broken, who am I gonna call, Ghostbusters? Don't be silly. Zefra Neo is the best way to build another world because it's the only card that can search the Zefra traps plus pillars. Zefra Powerman searches every Zefra card, but 9 pillars is not one of them. That being said, I am actually still on the fence on adding another copy of pillars, despite considering that earlier. Definitely will double pillars for a pure Zefra stun build, but that's another set of videos by itself. Effect Valor is being bumped up to 2 because I originally intended to use Synchron as an extender in the event that I hard drew Valor, but since I abandoned Synchron, I decided that I could use Valor to stand in for Valor in that exact situation. Also, like I said before, Valor is a hand trap for going second and enables synchro plays through its tuner status. Not much else I could really say on the matter. Foolish Burial is coming in to feed the aforementioned Dragon Engine. That is all. Feel free to critique this deck in the comments.